All right, 3, 2, 1.
What do you do for fun?
So one thing I like to do for fun is go outside and explore the lakes around Minneapolis. It's great in the summer and also in the winter.
I live over in the Seward neighborhood and I live right next to a powerlifting gym. I do a lot of powerlifting and stuff like that, and I have a lot of fun with that.
I love brunching, so pretty much go every week.
I play Quidditch.
Chemistry regularly participates in intramural softball and intramural volleyball, and I've done both of those things, and it was a really good way to, spend time with grad students outside of my lab.
So where do grad students tend to live?
All around the place, depending on whatever your scene is. So Minneapolis tends to be a little more fun and active. St. Paul tends to be a little more quieter.
How do I find a roommate within the department?
So over the summer, Stephanie sent out an Excel spreadsheet for people to fill out who were interested in living with people in the department. And I saw that Rachel had filled it out, and I recognized her name from Visit Weekend and knew she wasn't an axe murderer. So I reached out, and now we live together.
Yeah.
How do you get to campus?
If it's a nice day, I'll walk. If it's cloudy, cold, snowy, I'll take the bus.
So I take the Green Line train. It's very reliable, comes every 10 minutes.
The really great thing about public transit here is that you get a bus pass for like $100 a semester, and it's pretty affordable because it pays for itself.
How does the department demonstrate its dedication to diversity? I think there are lots of ways that the department shows its dedication to diversity, and I should first just say we're interested in diversity not just because it's the right thing to do, right? But also because we get better, more creative science when we have a more diverse set of people doing it. So we think about diversity both in terms of who we bring into the department, the graduate students we bring in, and the faculty. We use diversity of viewpoints, or DOVE fellowships, to bring in more diverse students, and we think hard about who we're hiring. In fact, the chemistry department at the University of Minnesota does way better than the national average in terms of number of women faculty. We're over 33% women, which is still too low, but better than the national average for sure.
How many hours does your advisor expect you to be in lab?
If you have a deadline, maybe you do a little extra work, but a typical work week is around 40.
You try and get your work done when you can, but I would say most of the time between 9 and 5.
My advisor doesn't expect me to be in lab for a certain number of hours each week. We set goals that I need to accomplish for each week.
How long do people usually TA for? So typically about 2 years is normal, depending on funding. Some people RA. Some people maybe do their first summer TAing, but I would say generally 2 years, 4 semesters total is the norm.
Should I be afraid of the weather? No.
It just becomes like a beautiful winter wonderland in the wintertime. So instead of being afraid of the weather, I actually have embraced it, and I absolutely love it.
I wouldn't be afraid of the weather. There are plenty of activities to do inside in the winter. Summer, it's absolutely beautiful. I spend most of my time when I'm not at work outside.
Coming from a southerner, I promise that you just have to wear a lot of pants and it'll be okay.
Are there mental health services?
As a graduate student, I have the graduate student health plan, which is very affordable and allows me to take part of any medical needs that I have on campus.
You can actually see a therapist for free or with a copay depending on what you need.
So the question is, how do I think that mental health advocacy in this department really has changed the department? And I really need to emphasize that in this department we've been addressing this for the last 8 years, so that's a really long time. I do believe we are kind of a leader in the nation among chemistry departments to really address this. And I think it's really had an impact, a major change on the department, because it's not just one person who's been doing this, but we started this very, very small, but it's been growing and growing. The graduate students have been part of this whole initiative from the very, very start.
How does advisor selection work?
In Minnesota, you have basically a 3-month window to choose an advisor, and it's overall a fairly informal process. You go around setting up your own meetings with potential advisors, you ask them lots of questions, you get to know members of the group, and then you decide which group is the best fit for you.
Everyone's really transparent through the whole process, so you genuinely really know where you're going to stand throughout the whole thing, as long as you're upfront with everyone. So it's a pretty seamless process, and by Thanksgiving of the first year, you know which group you're in.
How's the food scene here?
I live a couple blocks from campus, which means that there are 20 restaurants within walking distance of my house, and all of them are delicious. Favorite is a taco place, but there's also like really good falafel and gyro on my block.
We have all types of ethnic food. We have Vietnamese food, Chinese food, a great Korean place. We have Mediterranean food, anything you could want.
Okay, so I'm a really big foodie, and the food scene here in Minneapolis is outstanding. It's incredible. There's lots of different restaurants. We have restaurant week twice a week, which means like all the best restaurants put out like a specialty menu, and you can go try a bunch of different things for a reduced cost.
How was your transition to grad school?
When you have a lab that you really like and you join that lab, don't be afraid to ask the older grad students for advice, even if it feels like you're talking about squishy things. Because I would often ask the grad students, hey, it feels like I'm bad at everything. Is that normal? And they're like, yeah, you'll get used to it. It'll be okay. Just keep going. And I was like, oh, okay.
I graduated from Luther College and then spent 2 years working in industry. So for me, the transition to grad school involved a lot of relearning how to be a student. Overall, I think it was a pretty smooth transition.
Plenty of people every year get through it just fine.
Are there summer research opportunities before you start? And the answer is absolutely yes. We would love to get you in the lab. It's not a requirement. There's going to still be spots for you in the lab if you don't work in the summer, but we would love it if you're able to come in the summer.
So if you're interested in doing some summer research before you start the grad program here, then I encourage you to contact faculty who you are interested in directly. They'll be happy to accommodate a number of people in their lab if space is viable at this time.
So what makes the University of Minnesota so special to me? I think first of all it's the department and the department and the department. We really are very, very unique.
I decided to come to the University of Minnesota because this department sets you up for research success through infrastructure, collaborative opportunities, research centers, a history of excellence, but not at the expense of great teaching or departmental culture. Their values very much align with my own in terms of trying to be leaders in safety, diversity, inclusion, graduate student mental health. All these things that are becoming a national conversation have been going on at Minnesota for a very long time.
We have a very welcoming atmosphere, and so everyone is supported from the faculty and the staff to the students, as well as all the administration. And so that's a really a positive thing that I really enjoy coming to work every day because there's so many great people to work with.
So my very favorite part is the fact that it's just such a collegial department, and that my colleagues are in my office all the time, and that really helps to enhance the science as well as the graduate experience.
I do think another thing that really makes this place a cool place is that we really believe that it's not just kind of the top that needs to lead the department. It's not just the department head and maybe a director of graduate studies who needs to get this or keep this rolling, but it's really a belief that everybody contributes, everybody has an opportunity. And I think that you see from all the student groups that are active here. And what always pleases me enormously is when some of our students have kind of really soaked up that spirit of leadership. We've had companies who hired some of our students who told us, we hired you because your students have these leadership experiences. It all comes together. It's like we do things in a collaborative manner, people feel engaged. That's a cool thing in our department.
Cut. Also, thank you so much. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Cool.